And here's the reason why most entrepreneurs and leaders that struggle with scaling themselves out of the business or scaling their business to greater heights don't make it happen. And it's a sneaky, sneaky reason, but it's easily fixable if you understand what's going on. Hey, it's Wei, and you're listening to the Limitless Leader Podcast, the podcast for the powerfully ambitious entrepreneurs and leaders wanting to have limitless freedom to vision and focus on purposeful impact and growth. This episode could very well be one of the most important podcast episodes you'd ever listen to if you are looking to scale your business or scale yourself out of your business. It's one of the first things we tackle and have to overcome whenever we work with brand new clients that want to scale out of their business or out of the day-to-day grind. If you are it doesn't matter if you are a service-based entrepreneur or a course-based entrepreneur, a leader of an organization, it doesn't matter. And I think the reason why most entrepreneurs and leaders struggle with scaling out of the day-to-day grind without having to worry about, growth and revenue as a result of them, getting out of the day-to-day or having to hire a lot more people or replace people on their team is because there's a lack of clarity as to why they want to scale. And that lack of clarity creates a kind of like an anxiety that creeps up over time and then sucks the entrepreneur or leader back in. If you've ever tried to scale, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. You will make monumental effort, buy programs and hire coaches and do trainings and technology and systems just so that you could scale. But the reason why you're scaling is what we need to pay attention to first. Because most of the time when we're working with brand new clients, the reason why they're scaling is a pain point. But that makes sense. Because if you understand the psychology of the human subconscious mind or the unconscious mind, most of the time, this is why human beings don't change unless there's some kind of a cathartic event. We don't move out of our comfort zone of whatever we've created until there is insurmountable pain. The problem is that at some point we need to shift away from letting that pain be a motivator to something else. So, as an example, and hopefully by the end of this episode, you'll be able to have a really good idea of how to stop this up and down roller coaster cycle of scaling out, then falling back in, and scaling out and falling back in, because this is exactly what addresses that. Now, sometimes it's so extreme that people don't even bother scaling because then they just kind of like reason themselves out of it. Let's think about all the reasons why people want to scale. One, they're completely burnt out. Okay, now burnout is different for everybody, but for the sake of this conversation, you know what I mean, where they're running on fumes and they don't have time for anything. So there's a lack of time for personal life. There's a lack of time for doing the things that you want to do. Okay. And then you are basically burning out. And that pain is enough for you to say, I need to get out of the day-to-day. I need to get out of this grind. I need to scale my business. And so the first thought is, okay, great. Well, let me scale my business. Okay. So that's one reason. Now, there's another reason, too, which is the natural progression and evolution of any business, which is like growth, right? At some point, you go from a startup, if you like say you are a solopreneur, then you hire a few people, and then at some point you get to you're making enough revenue that the business requires you to not be part of the day-to-day in order for things to grow. Then you tell yourself, okay, great, I need to scale myself out. Okay, but how do I do that? And so you do all these things. You hire people, consultants, or programs and technology, and then get yourself out. But somehow you find yourself tethered back into the trenches again and working the day-to-day. Okay. A lot of times when people come to us and say, hey, Lisa, Wei, I need to scale out of our business. I need more time freedom. I need more of a life, right? And they've been in business a long time. and they want to immediately jump into the strategy. They want to jump into optimizing their team and doing the things that we do to help people scale out. But the reality is there is a sneaky little subconscious program that needs to be addressed first. So let's break down what that shift is, to shift away from the motivation that gets you moving to begin with is and the shift that needs to happen to go into the motivation that sustains you to scale out of the business. Okay? There's two different type of motivators. The pain motivator is always the motivator that gets people to start to move. Think about what happens if you look into nature, if you look into how animals function, right? Most of the time if you watch nature, pain gets complacent animals to immediately move. But what happens when that pain is gone? When that pain is gone, animals become complacent again. In the context of entrepreneurs and leaders that are looking to scale out of their business, they immediately start to scale. And when they have an opportunity to eliminate the pain that drove them to want to scale to begin with, if they don't shift gears into a different type of motivator, they will fall right back into the previous pattern. And then they get into this hamster wheel of, okay, in order for me to get motivated to scale again, I need to put myself in the first motivator, which is the catharsis or the pain point, to get motivated again. And then this yo-yo effect starts to happen. And it happens more than just business. It happens to people in the health world, in the relationship world, everywhere. It is kind of part of human nature. And so what we've always done, and this is something that you can probably do, is start off with a list of all the reasons why you want to scale. And it's okay if they're negative or whatever the case may be. I'm not of the school of thought, well, we just completely reframe out of negativity. No negativity. No. There is a yin and yang to everything, and it's really important for transformation to address both, to honor both, to embrace both. It's only human beings that have decided to label good and bad and right and wrong based on negativity and positivity. So all the things that are causing the pain points of getting you to get up off your duff and say, okay, I'm going to scale this year, or I'm finally going to scale. Okay. Now, once you get that list out, the next question I have for you is this. Why do you want to scale? That is not about the pain. In other words, if you think about the analogy of getting the donkey to move, right? A lot of times people will use a stick and just like smack the donkey in the butt, and the donkey will move a little bit, but then it'll stop. And then this is where that stubborn donkey type of metaphor comes from. What actually gets the donkey to continue moving after it's smacked in the butt is the incentive of a carrot in front of the donkey. Not to say that we're donkeys, but hey, we are still a part of nature. So it is only natural to realize and recognize the fact that once we eliminate the pain, what's going to keep us going is the promise of the ideal end result, the dream and the vision of why we want to scale. You'd be surprised how many of our clients, when we ask this question, why do you truly want to scale, and you're not allowed to talk about painful things, they pause and say, I'm not quite sure. They're actually, and this is a human thing, and just kind of like the world we've been raised in, okay? Hopefully this shifts as time goes on. But most of us are more clear about what's giving us pain than what life would be like without that pain, and why we want to continue to cross the finish line of scaling to where we want to go. And it seems simple, but most of the solutions we provide are simple. It's counterintuitive sometimes, but this is what needs to happen first. Before you put any strategies in place, before you optimize any team members, you're the one that wants to scale. So as a leader, you need to be crystal clear. In fact, I would challenge you to be even more clear about the positive end results, the ideal end results of you scaling, than you are with the reasons why you are wanting to scale from a pain point standpoint. Did I say point twice? Yeah, I did. Okay. So you make a list of all the pain points. You make a hopefully more detailed, more extensive list, and then challenge yourself to do that, to spend some extra time to do that. We've had clients spend an entire month just to have that ideal end goal, circumstance of why they want to scale, to be more detailed and more extensive than the pain points. Once that shift happens, I guarantee you, when you start hitting your goals of why you want to scale, you're going to have a much easier time maintaining that momentum and maintaining that end state of being scaled out of the day-to-day of your business to do what it is that you want with your time. Hopefully you found that helpful, and I am looking forward to hearing all about it. If you enjoyed this episode, and if there was something that I talked about that you want to dive deeper into, seeing how it can shift things in your world as a limitless leader, wanting to scale your business to whatever end goal that you're looking for, visit limitlessleader.co or find us on Facebook or LinkedIn to connect with us. Or you can email team@limitlessleader.co and make sure you mention this episode if that's what inspired you. Until next time, keep striving onward and upwards for the limitless possibilities that lie within you.